What's up, y'all? Want to give you guys a look, an update, or updated look at my Mattel WWE collection. Now, this is and these aren't exactly in any specific order, um, but these are basically my older collection, or I don't know if you want to call it my original collection, without any of my newer ones since I've come back to collecting WWE. So I want to say that these range from I think about 2009 to maybe about 2014 or so. That's kind of like when I stopped collecting, before I stopped following WWE. Um, and for those that don't know, if I haven't mentioned it, if you follow me, um, I stopped following because I stopped having cable satellite. So there you have it. It wasn't because I lost interest in WWE. I love this shit. And if you've been following me, then you know that I've been back for the past few months since we moved here to Vegas. We got DirecTV, and then I finally started to follow, and then more recently, I actually finally signed up for WWE Network. Anyway, enough rambling about that. Let's just take a look at these figures. So, I don't know if I've shown in previous videos, just showing my WWE collections. I actually had quite a few more male superstars. I think this is probably most, if not all, of the female superstars are at the majority of the time that I was following around this era. There was the Divas division. I don't If I've gotten rid of any, wasn't many at all. But the male superstars, I know I had quite a lot more, and then at some point I decided, you know what, I'm just gonna collect the Divas. It's just everything's tight. I can't I can't go on collecting, and so I actually got rid of a lot of my male superstars. But this is what I ended up still keeping. And again, there's not really any particular order here. Some of them slightly, what do you call it? What's the word? I forget the word. Chronological, not meaning like when they were released, but kind of like, when they showed up. But again, it's not exactly in that order. I just like Macho Man. I put him first because that's from classic WWF. Anyway, let's just look at these. This is Macho Man. He was one of my favorites back in the day. I've been following since the classic era, meaning the 80s, the early 80s. He was always one of my favorites. One of these days, maybe I might want to backtrack and get some figures of some of my other favorites, like Hulk Hogan, of course. Anyway, Randy Orton. This is one of those ones that I'll actually probably never get rid of, even as I sometimes thin my collections and replace some with newer ones. This is what started it all for me. And again, I think it was 2009, if not 2009, 2010, but I want to say it was 2009. At the time, the Mattel WWE was still fairly new, and I was kind of holding off from collecting them because I had quite a collection of the Jakks ones, and I was like, I don't want to start a new collection, but BC sent this over to me, and yeah, it was game over from there. I pretty much went all in after that. These I realized how great these figures were, especially compared to the to the Jakks ones. Sorry to say, but so yeah, Randy Orton, Triple H, Batista. He was always one of my favorites as well, and most of these actually were among my favorites. That's why I kept these guys, even though I've thinned my collections. Undertaker, of course, Kane. Some of these I wish, I don't know if, it cost me a pretty penny, but I want to replace some of these with elite versions. Moving forward, I kind of want to stick to only elites. But anyway, Rey Mysterio and The Rock. Surprisingly, I don't have a John Cena. I have had, but you know, love him or hate him, which, you know, the guy gets a lot of hate. I love the guy. Anyway, moving on to these divas. One of the classics, Miss Elizabeth. Boom. You know, of course you have to have, you gotta have, I'm having a brain fart right now. Stephanie McMahon. And then most of these, I think I know the names, but then there's gonna be a few of these that they weren't really people that I knew. I'll get into that in a second. Anyway, you got the Bellas. I think I want to say these were the second versions. I do have the battle pack with the first time in the line sealed. I think I had them open at one point, but then when I got these, I got rid of those. And then there's a Nikki here, a slightly more updated version. And then Kelly. If you guys know me, you know that I loved Kelly. She was basically, you know, one of my all-time favorites. Eve Torres, right? She was cool. I really liked her, and I liked when she there was some show that she was on at some point later. Some like, it was like some military kind of combat show. Anyway, Michelle McCool. I never got a Layla. I got one. I got her off of eBay because there was going to be the autograph signing at SDCC. I forget what year that was. And I only ever got that one sealed. So I still want a Layla for my collection. Natalia. I also want a updated version of her. Beth Phoenix. She's always one of my favorites. The Glamazon. AJ Lee. If there's... I don't want to say if there's one, because I'll get to that in a second, but she's one of the ones I wish was still in the WWE. Loved her. I think I had other versions of her, but these are the two that I still have. Moving on, you got the Funkadactyls, Naomi. I really need an updated version as her. Cameron. I don't know what happened to her. I think she left WWE during the time that I wasn't following anymore. Caitlyn. I loved Caitlyn. Also, she's another one that I was really into, and sucks that she left WWE. I'm not 100%. I want to say this is Maurice. I think that's Maurice. Vicky Guerrero. I don't remember. I think I did a review on this one. And then Lana. Lana's cool. I love how she's one of the ones that is around today. And this was back before, long before she was actually in the ring. But I was a fan of her from the start. The ravishing fake Russian. This is one of the ones. What's her name? What's her name? Oh, I don't remember her name. Yeah, I don't remember her name. She's one that I remember I liked her, but I wasn't a huge fan. And then this one, is this Eva Marie? I'm not sure. This is one of those ones that later down the line, well, this is, I think this is Tamina. I think. And then these three right here, and I think this is Emma. I'm not sure. I could totally be wrong. And anyway, these three right here, these were one. I wasn't super familiar with them, but it was still at the time that I was I might have not been following so much, but I was still just like, you know, I collect the Divas figures, so I'm gonna collect them, you know, regardless, even if I don't really know them. By that logic, though, there's a few that I did miss that I still would like Summer Rae. Um, I forget off the top of my head, but there's a few that I still would like from that era when I was watching before I came back. And then last but not least, Paige. She came in around the tail end of when I was previously following WWE. So she was I want to say I think she was like the last of the Divas figures that I had gotten before I stopped watching. She was fairly new, but she really caught my attention. I was like, ooh, this girl is cool. You know, I want to say I kind of, now I didn't see her much, but I felt like she was gonna get to the point where I was gonna like her as much as I liked AJ Lee. Then I hear later on, you know, that I think it was much later after I wasn't able to watch anymore, that she left. Now, what I was gonna say, like, if there was one, but there isn't just one, another one that I really wish will come back, and I've heard rumors that she is, so we'll see. That would be interesting to see, especially, you know, with my favorite now being Alexa Bliss and a few other favorites. I'm like, it'd be interesting to see how things get shaken up if Paige comes back. But yeah, really cool. I think this one was an elite, yeah, because she came with not one but two belts, NXT and Divas Championship. So yeah, there you have it. Again, there's a few gaps I'd still like to fill from this, or you know, around these eras that I was watching and collecting back then. But I do have my all new collection, which you know, it's still small, but it'll get there. I might do, you know, an update on that, you know, before too long as well, just to show where I'm at with my new collection, since I've started watching just like about three or so months ago. So anyway, there you have it. That's my earlier collection of Mattel WWE figures. Thanks for watching.